Right everybody, Kris Gethin here. Now we are right out here in the backlands of India, and we're about a 7-hour drive from Bangalore, which is our nearest major city, and we came out here last night to show you where one of our organic ingredients comes from, which is PurCaf in the Caged Muscle products. It's in pre-caged, it's in caged. We have a new version of Clean Burn coming out with a PurCaf organic green bean caffeine is included. So you are surrounded right now by the green bean caffeines, the green bean coffee beans that the caffeine is extracted from. So every supplement company out there tells you we're the best company, we have the best ingredients. But a lot of the time it's generic ingredients. The caffeines that they use are synthetic. They're extracted using harsh chemicals, and they're made in a lab. So I want to show you the shreds of evidence and the proof behind Caged Muscle and the ingredients that we have inside. So last time I showed you what went behind the ashwagandha plant, and that was for the KAGED 66, was here in India, another one of our patented ingredients that we have in our products. This time I'm going to show you everything that goes behind the organic green bean caffeine that we have in our Caged Muscle products. So that's what I'm going to show you today in regards to the PurCaf organic green bean caffeine. So we're going deeper into the woods here to show you where they are being picked, how they're processed, how they're washed, how it's extracted, and how it ends up here.
One of the things that we think is most important about applied food sciences and our partnerships is taking care of the workers, taking care of the people who take the ingredients, because so often everyone wants to turn as much volume as they can that they can look a blind eye on some things. But we do more than just a sustainable practice. We make sure that the workers have fair pay. We make sure that they have hospitals and doctor visits. One of the greatest stories that we ever had was interviewing a worker who said he'd never been to the dentist ever in his life, and because of our help with worker care and giving them medical care, he was able to get some teeth pulled, and he said it was extraordinary. It changed his life, and through a translator, of course, he's telling me this. He's never felt better because he had that opportunity to see a doctor for the first time. Something that we just take for granted is really impactful and helps these people live their lives by being able to come to these farms and get work, get money for their families, get fair wages, have medical care. All those things help go into what ends up being a great product at the end of the day.
That's awesome. That's really good, because a lot of people say, no, you don't put customers first, you put the workers first, and then the customers will automatically come, because obviously they're going to be a lot happier in what they're doing, knowing that they're being taken care of as well.
Yeah. And coffee is one of the unique ingredients that has to be hand-picked. I mean, you go on these mountainsides with these giant slopes, and so it takes a lot of workers, hundreds and hundreds of workers, to pick these coffee. And if you're not doing the right thing and at the end of the day having ethical practices, you know, you're really doing a disjustice to your own company. You know, yeah. We want everyone who comes to Applied Food Sciences, who comes to KAGED, to know the back end of the story, that everyone is taken care of.
All right, everybody, Kris Gethin here. No, I'm not in a gym, and I'm not in front of a stove cooking in a kitchen. I am here in the beautiful wilderness in India with Jackson Zapp, who is, what is your title?
VP of Product Innovation for
VP
Applied Food Sciences.
Applied Food Sciences. Now, we've known each other for several years now, because this is the brains, or one of the brains, behind the PurCaf organic green bean caffeine that we have in several of our products. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your history, and what actually got you started with this particular ingredient?
We became a food science company that did a lot of botanical extracts. So we championed organic ingredients maybe 10 years ago, back when no one really cared about organic. And now the trend is starting to come up for everyone wants organic and everyone cares about it. They care about more and more clean label. They care about what's in their body. And PurCaf organic caffeine is a great example of that. Most caffeine sources are synthesized, they're made in a lab, they're artificial. When you take PurCaf, you're taking organic caffeine from the most clean, pure source, organic coffee, and turning it into a caffeine that can be used, that the body will recognize and use for energy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because like you get a lot of pre-workouts and energy drinks today. Very rarely you'll see that they've got an organic ingredient. Like you said, it's generally a generic ingredient. It's synthetic, created in a lab. We are here in beautiful countryside where we've just been to the green bean coffee fields where these green beans are picked and then extracted from the caffeine extracted from that bean and utilized in its products. So we traveled quite a number of hours. It was like 22 hours in flight or 21 hours in flight and then 6.5 hours out here. But this is what we should do and we decided to do to show the transparency and the authenticity behind these ingredients. Because everybody says they have the best ingredients, they have the best products, but nobody actually shows that transparency or that shred of evidence of what they say is actually in the bottle, you know. And what we noticed here was not only, you know, the conditions and where these green beans are picked at the right climate, the right time of year, but, you know, how you actually look after the workers here as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really important not only to show transparency of where the ingredients are coming from. You can say, hey, I know that this caffeine comes from this region in India, it was picked at this farm, and you can trace that back, which is a great story. But what's more important than that is showing how the workers are being treated, the ethical farming practices and the cafe practices for social responsibility is incredibly important for applied food sciences. So we don't just do fair wages. That's not enough in our regulations and our audits. We make sure that there's not discrimination so both men and women can work. We make sure there's no child labor. We make sure that they have medical care, and we make sure that they have transportation for schools for their kids so that the parents can work. All of these things, including housing for the workers, are taken care of by our company, and having these companies do the right thing, follow the right procedures, will buy a lot of their product from them. So taking that extra step to make sure the workers are taken care of, not just financially, but with their livelihood, is incredibly important for us.
Yeah.
What we do is an all-water extraction. So there's no chemicals, there's no solvents, and you get the cleanest, most pure caffeine using only water. So we can take what's naturally found in earth, organically grown, use a water process, and get the cleanest, most pure caffeine for our ingredients.
What have you seen as like the best sort of performance aspects of a PurCaf for the active athlete or the active individual?
So we found with PurCaf being a natural caffeine source from coffee, which is widely recognized, people understand the feeling they get with coffee caffeine as opposed to other caffeine sources. You're going to have your maximum amount of effort, and performance is going to be maximized by knowing what your caffeine is and how much you need, and being able to take the cleanest caffeine will give you the best results. Speaking
of the amounts, like what have you found is like the sweet spot of caffeine to be taken in a single dosage?
For me, 200 milligrams is a perfect amount. It's like 2 cups of strong coffee. It gets me going, and then if I need a little more during the day, I'll continue to take some.
So when you're actually taking the caffeine, like what I do with obviously the pre-cage and in-cage, you know, I don't take it every single day. I'll take it like 5 days a week, so I've got 2 days off. Have you found that, you know, people should cycle with the caffeine, or is it something that you could take every day and your receptors are still going to be open to it?
It's similar in a way that your tolerance will build the more you take. So if you're drinking coffee every morning, for example, 1 cup of coffee might not affect you the same as it did 1 year, 2 years ago. So it's similar in if you cycle your caffeine, you'll get a stronger result when you stop taking it. So if you go off the caffeine for a bit, take it again, your body will react differently than if you take it consistently over this course of the day.
Yeah, that's what I found, because a lot of people will take the in-caged just as a drink during the day. And they'll do that on non-training days. But I don't do that. I just take my 2 days off a week, and I just find the strength of the caffeine is exactly the same as it has been since the first day I started it.
Yeah.
You know? So let's just go back to the practices here, and what we're doing, what you guys are doing here with the caffeine here. Why India? Why did you choose India? You've got Colombia. There's various countries around the world where you could have picked your coffee beans. Why India of all places?
It really comes down to our partnerships. We've had long-standing 20-plus year partnerships with some ingredient raw material suppliers, extraction facilities here in India, and they've really become part of our family. So it's not just a business relationship, it's something that we come down here often and shake hands, meet their families, go to temples with them, and it's really a part of our livelihood. So India is an incredibly important country for us. Not only do they grow great amounts of coffee, which people don't realize, the south of India is an incredibly lush coffee region, but they have organic turmeric and ginger and other ingredients that we work with as well for other extracts of curcumin and gingerols. Yeah,
and that's the one thing that I do love about India and coming out here is that it has not been industrialized at all where we are. It is very authentic and organic, as everything should be, and that's what we're trying to reverse our way back to. We're trying to increase our health span by going back to how our ancestors ate and farmed, basically.
And I mean, estates like this are 6-7 generations old, so they've been growing organic coffee the right way since the 1800s. So it's easy for us to come here and get right certified. It doesn't take a lot of time, where South America, they do more slash and burn kind of farming, agriculture, straight lines of coffee. It's a little bit harder to get all that organic certifications in place for coffee.
Yeah.
So India is incredibly important for the culture, the people, and also the high quality of ingredients.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of ingredients that we've sourced here, and that's exactly why. There's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of loyalty, especially like you said, within the families. Providing the same work as they did generations before. But the practices on top, and the people are very passionate here. Mm-hmm. They're motivated, they're passionate, so if we can continue to work with them, obviously it creates a perfect synergy. If they're happy, the products are going to be happy, the customers are going to be happy.
Right, and the economic impact of ingredient work for them is incredible, because the population is so massively dense populated here in India that if they didn't have the agricultural regions, they would have a lot less jobs. So it goes a long way to have these workers working year-round instead of just seasonally, because of the ingredients that we're able to do with green coffee now and harvested coffee. And it gives more jobs, more money comes into their neighborhoods, their economic areas, and it just prospers the whole region.
Yeah, for sure. But when we're able to come to regions like this and actually film behind the scenes, so people can see exactly what goes into creating the tablets, or people are maybe listening to the podcast, I'm holding the PurCaf caffeine tablet here, or the pre-caged or the in-caged. At least they can see, okay, we're not just here just thinking about margins, making money, profits, marketability. It's all about the authenticity and actually giving the consumer hopefully more value than what they're investing in.
Yeah, and Applied Food Sciences, we think it's important, and we're one of the only companies that does this, where we regularly come down here ourselves. Like our CEO, our team come down here and put our hands in the dirt and get a chance to meet the farmers and audit our own facilities. And it's great when we can bring companies like KAGED down there to show them, this is where this is your baby, this is where the caffeine comes from, and it's every step of the way until it gets to the consumer's hand. You can see and follow, and we can show that. I think it's something that more companies should do.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you see that's wrong with the industry right now? Especially when it comes to ingredients that you're involved with. When you look at the health and fitness landscape, what do you see wrong with it?
Adulteration is probably one of the biggest issues that we see, especially in the supplement world, where people will take an organic or a natural ingredient and then pump it up with synthetic ingredient.
And they will then still label it as organic?
Yeah. And so it's very difficult when you get certain high percentages of caffeine, for example, to test whether it's adulterated or not. So that's why companies like ours, Applied Food Sciences, has done new testing regimens for testing carbons. testing isotope testing to make sure that the origination of the caffeine actually comes from the earth. And we're able to then identify and remove anything that might be synthetically adulterated. So the adulteration process is a huge problem in our industry, and because of our now better testing processes, we're able to find out, make sure that the ingredient is exactly what it is, what it's supposed to be.
Right. So it's kind of like what we call borrowed science, where somebody can say, okay, this is the label claim, this is the structure function claim, but basically what they're doing is taking that science of that patented ingredient. However, they have an adulterated or generic ingredient that they're referring to.
Right, and you never know what you're going to get when that's the case. So we want to make sure that we have a quality check everywhere along the line, from where it's extracted to where it goes into the United States or the UK or wherever it might be. And every batch is tested and double tested for quality and assurance for no adulteration.
Right, okay, gotcha. So there are like fast caffeine metabolizers and slow caffeine metabolizers. Like, so when it comes to these products that I've got in front of me, the pre-caged, in-caged, the caffeine, is there a particular time in the evening that somebody should say, okay, I'm not going to have any caffeine, or is that going to come down to that individual?
Yeah, it's going to be different for each person. Like, I can drink coffee at night and I just dream fast, you know, it doesn't really affect me. But other people, you know, after lunch, if they have any caffeine, they'll be up all night. So it really depends on your body. It also depends on when you like to work out, for example. So I go to the office, I work all day, and then my release, my stress release, my way to unwind for the day is to hit the gym. So for me, it works better to take my supplements and my pre-caged and stuff before I work out after work. And by the time I'm done with dinner and seeing my kids and everything, that caffeine has been out of my system.
Got
and
it.
I feel good. So it really depends, and every person's regimen might be different, but the caffeine itself will metabolize depending on your own, you know, bloodstream and metabolizing of your own body.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of people who train in the evening and they take the products, no problem. Me personally, I try to shut out any caffeine after 4 p.m. because I'll be staring at the ceiling all night.
Yeah, I say general good practice is to not take caffeine after lunchtime unless you really, you know, need that boost.
Yeah.
Because the carbohydrates and the other things you eat will give you fuel and energy as well. So unless you're, you know, trying to fast or something, you'll get your own energy from the food you eat.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you think caffeine or coffee breaks a fast?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, you know, but the thing is, those are a lot of the people that are actually putting ghee and MCTs in there, like 600 calories, of course it's going to do that, yeah. All right, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you inviting us down here, Jackson. It was absolutely awesome. And let's go taste some coffee.
Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.